that he'll be available. Aaron Gillane, of course, one of the best forwards in the game. He was lining out with Crees Celtic down in Limerick over the weekend. I'd say he's not a bad soccer player either, would you?
I'd say he's a good man to hang maybe just on the shoulder of one of the defenders and just try and get a ball in over the top. But it was interesting. You'd love to see you'd love to kind of even mark him for the crack and just see how he'd go, because obviously he'd murder either of us in hurling. But just you go in soccer, kind of any man can stand in, and even particularly I used to play a good bit of centre half and even play sweeper as well. I presume he's an attacker. Maybe I'm being too simplistic in thinking that maybe he's a centre half. But
David Clifford's a centre back, or was a centre back underage?
That's right, yeah. And even like it's good to see that them boys they're not exactly sheltered in what they're allowed to do in the winter time. Gerard Hegarty scored a great goal that we had up on the OurGame Twitter recently, and Gillane is playing a bit as well. So they're kind of left to their own devices. And I don't know if this was part of Limerick training or not, but you saw recently Kyle Hayes and Cian Lynch and Gillane back in the boxing club where they did that white collar fundraiser a couple of years ago. So they're obviously let go off and do what they want. And while other teams, I don't think, by all accounts, Limerick will go back a bit later than others. By nature of their season finishing, and they did look like they'd gone back later last year, and team holidays and stuff like that. Don't think they've gone on their team holiday yet, to the best of my knowledge. So they'll go back a bit later and be left to their own devices for a while. And just something as